Hey everyone, this is Narendra and you're watching to my channel BioGuru. Today in this video we are going to learn about reproductive cycles in animals. So there are two types of reproductive cycles, estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. So what is estrous cycle? It is the cyclical change in the activities of ovaries and the uterus. What it is? It is a cyclical change in the activities of the ovaries and the uterus in non-primate mammals. So there are two types of mammals. One, non-primates and primates. So here the cyclical activities which are taking place in case of non-primate ovaries and uterus, that is called as estrous cycle. Certain events are going to take place, hormonal changes, and there are certain changes which occurs in the ovaries as well as the uterus are cyclic in nature. They happens again and again repeatedly. So those cyclical changes in the ovaries and the uterus in non-primate mammals is called as what? Estrous cycle. So examples here for non-primate mammals are rats, sheep, dogs, cows and tigers. Moving to the next type of cycle, that is menstrual cycle. Here the menstrual cycle is the cyclical changes in the activities of ovaries and the uterus. Basically these cycles are occurring in ovaries and uterus, right? So the changes which are taking place in the ovary and uterus in primates, it is called as what? Menstrual cycle. The activities of the cyclical change in the activities of ovaries and the uterus in non-primate mammals, estrous cycle, whereas the cyclical changes in the activities of ovaries and uterus in primate mammals is called as what? Menstrual cycle. Basically there is a changes in ovaries and uterus. But the difference is estrous cycle is occurring in non-primate mammals, whereas menstrual cycle is occurring in primate mammals. So here example for primates are monkeys, apes and humans. So moving to the next one, that is based on the periodicity of breeding. So different organisms like primates and non-primates, they reproduce at a different time, at particular season of a year. So based on that, based on the periodicity of breeding, animals can be classified into two types, that is seasonal breeders and continuous breeders. So what is seasonal breeder over here? These are the animals which reproduce at a particular period of the year. So examples like frogs, lizards and most birds, they reproduce at particular season of the year. So these organisms are called as seasonal breeders. What are seasonal breeders? These are the animals which reproduce at a particular period of the year. Right? So now the question arises. Here example, if you see the birds, but we get eggs regularly, daily almost, in grocery or nearby stores. How it is possible when birds are seasonal breeders? It is because birds in captivity in poultry farms are made to lay eggs throughout the year for commercial use of eggs. They are made to lay the eggs by giving hormonal injections. Because of that, we get eggs throughout the years. Clear? So moving to the next type of animal, that is continuous breeder. So basically there are two types based on the periodicity of breeding, seasonal breeders, then continuous breeder. If the animals are reproducing or reproductively active throughout the year, are called continuous breeders. Example is human. Human can reproduce in any season of the year, any time after reaching puberty. Okay, now let us study about the senescence or old age. If you remember, organisms who reproduce sexually, they have to pass through certain stages. First stage, juvenile stage, or it is also called as vegetative phase. The second phase is reproductive phase or maturity phase. This is the third phase, that is senescence phase. If you don't remember, click on this link of my previous video, go through that video, then come back to this video. Okay, now what is senescence or old age? The end of the reproductive phase is marked by old age, which is referred to as senescence phase. This last phase is a complex process of progressive deterioration of physiological function, ultimately leading to death. Basically, senescence phase is the last phase where there is a complex process of progressive deterioration of physiological function that ultimately leads to death. Okay, now let us study about the events in sexual reproduction. So there are three events taking place in sexual reproduction: pre-fertilization event, fertilization event, post-fertilization event. Now, first one, pre-fertilization event. Events taking place before the fusion of gametes. Right? So here pre means before, fertilization means it is the fusion of gametes. So before the fusion of gametes, the events which are taking place, it is called as pre-fertilization event. So what it consists of? It consists of gametogenesis, gamete transfer. So we will study one by one. The first event of pre-fertilization event is gametogenesis. What is gametogenesis here? Process of formation of gamete is called gametogenesis. The gametes are haploid. Two types of gametes can be seen in organism. That is homogametes and heterogametes. So homogametes, also known as isogametes, heterogametes are also known as anisogametes. So now what are these homogametes and heterogametes? Let us see. Okay, homogametes or isogametes. When two fusing gametes are similar in their size, structure and behavior are called homogametes. Right? They cannot be distinguished as male and female gametes. Example here for such gametes are of cladophora, which is a green alga. Here in this diagram you can see that two gametes are there. They are similar in their structure, in their behavior, in their size. Right? So here we cannot differentiate which is male gamete and which is female gamete. So such type of gametes are called as homogametes. Right? Now the reproduction by isogamete is called as isogamous. Coming to the next type of gamete, that is heterogamete. If two gametes are morphologically and physiologically different, then they are called as heterogametes. There are two types of gametes can be seen in heterogametes because they are morphologically and physiologically different. So two types of gametes can be called as, one is male gamete and another one is a female gamete. So let us study about the male gamete and female gamete. So here male gametes are also called as anthrozoites or sperms and are much smaller than the female gamete and are motile. Motile means here they can move actively because they have or they consist flagella which helps in the motility. So because of that, here in heterogametes, male gametes are usually motile and they are much smaller than the female gametes, right? So they are also called as what? Anthrozoites or sperms. So moving to the next one, next type of gamete, that is female gamete. So female gametes are also known as egg or ovum and are larger in size and these are non-motile. So female gametes are non-motile whereas the male gametes are motile. So why these are non-motile? It is because they lack flagella. So let us have a look at the diagram so that we can understand these heterogametes. So here the heterogametes of fucus, which is a brown alga. So here this one, which is a larger in size, and it is not having, or it is lacking the flagella, so obviously it is a female gamete. Here it is called as egg. So here you can see beside egg, there is a small gamete. Obviously it is a male gamete, and also it is having two flagella. Flagella varies in organisms. Some they contain only one flagella, some they have two, some they have multiple flagella. So here you can see biflagellated condition. So here this male gamete is called as antherozoid. So the next one, heterogamete of human beings. Here you can see the larger size of female gamete, which is called here as a ovum. You can see here the sperms, they are much smaller than the ovum or the female gamete, and they are flagellated. So this particular region is a, or part is a flagella. So the sperms and antherozoids are motile. That means overall male gametes are motile, whereas the female gametes are non-motile. Now let us study about the sexuality in organism. So there are two types of sexuality we can see. First one, bisexual organism, and another one is a unisexual organism. So one by one we will study. So coming to the first type of sexuality, that is bisexual organisms. In organism, if both the sexes, that is male and female, are present in same individual, is called bisexual organism. Yes, such type of organisms are also present where in a single individual two sexes are present. Both the sexes are present, male and female. Both reproductive organs are present, male reproductive organ as well as the female reproductive organ. So such type of organism, they are called as bisexual organism. So this bisexual organism is having some other alternate terms. So what are those? Monoecious or homothallic, or it is also known as hermaphrodites. Basically in plants we use these two terms, monoecious and homothallic, whereas in animals we can use these two terms, that is monoecious as well as we can use hermaphrodite. So here the example includes Chara, Hydra, sponges, liver fluke, tapeworm, leech and earthworm. So moving to the next type of sexuality, that is unisexual organism. So here in unisexual organism, if the sexes are present in two different individuals, here the sexes are separate. So such type of organisms are called as unisexual organism. In unisexual organism, one parent, that is one individual, is male and another is female. Here the two fusing gametes are derived from the different parents, because there are two different individuals are there sexually, male and female. So for unisexual organism, there are some other alternate terms like heterothallic or dioecious. Example here includes Marchantia, cycas, cockroach, frog and humans for unisexual organism. Note, in unisexual flower, the male flower is called staminate and the female flower is called pistillate. Okay, now let's talk about the next event coming under the pre-fertilization event, that is gamete transfer. Gametes needs to be transferred for the fusion to take place. In most organisms, gametes, that is male gametes, are motile while the female gametes are non-motile. So male gametes needs a medium for their movement in order to reach the female gamete. So during that movement, during the transfer of male gametes, most of the male gametes are lost. So in order to compensate, large number of gametes are produced to overcome this loss. Now let us move to the next type of event, that is fertilization event. Here the fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization, or it is also called as syngamy. So fertilization leads to the formation of another type of cell, that is a zygote. Basically it is a fertilized egg. So when the sperm fertilizes the female gamete or the egg or ovum, then it forms a zygote. So in some organism, female gamete without undergoing fertilization, they develop into zygote. Right? So here the formation of zygote without fertilization is called parthenogenesis, which occurs in rotifers, honeybees and some lizards. Okay, now let's talk about the types of fertilization. So first type is external fertilization, second type is internal fertilization. External fertilization means when the fusion of gamete takes place outside the body in external medium. Such type of fertilization is called as external fertilization. So example, in most aquatic organism it is seen. Whereas the internal fertilization, if the fusion of gametes takes place within the body of organism, then such type of fertilization is called as internal fertilization. Such type of fertilization is seen in most terrestrial organism. In aquatic organism, external fertilization is seen most of the aquatic organism, whereas the internal fertilization is seen in most of the terrestrial organisms. Now moving to the last event, that is post-fertilization event. Now what is this post-fertilization event? Events taking place after the fertilization are called post-fertilization event. Now what are those events taking place? First one, zygote formation, then embryogenesis. So let us see. Okay, zygote formation. Haploid gametes fuse to form a diploid zygote in an organism. We know that gametes are haploid. When they fuse together, they form a cell which is diploid, and that cell is a zygote. Right? So in external fertilization, zygote is formed in external medium. Obviously, it is because in external fertilization, the fusion of gametes takes place outside the body in an external medium. Hence, the zygote is formed in external medium. Whereas in case of internal fertilization, zygote is formed inside the individual's body. Why? Because in internal fertilization, the fusion of gametes takes place inside the body, within the body. So hence, zygote is formed inside the individual. Next event in post-fertilization is embryogenesis. Now what is embryogenesis? It is the process of development of embryo from the zygote. Is called embryogenesis. Zygote undergo cell division and differentiation. Cell division increases the number of cells of the embryo, and cell differentiation helps the cells undergo modification to form specialized tissues and the organ. So overall this process is called as what? Embryogenesis. Now based on the zygote development, how and where zygote is developing. So based on that, once again we can classify organism into two types, that is oviparous organism, then viviparous. Let us see what is oviparous. Development takes place inside the egg. Here the zygote development takes place inside the egg, and the eggs are released into the outside environment. So such organisms are called as oviparous. Basically or commonly they are called as egg laying animals. Right? So examples here, birds and reptiles. So the next type of organism is viviparous. Here the development of zygote takes place inside the body, and the developed young one is delivered outside. So here directly the developed young one is given birth, and the whole development takes place inside the body. So such type of organisms, they are called as viviparous organisms. So here example is mammals. So in case of flowering plants, zygote formed inside the ovule. So after fertilization, in case of post-fertilization event, these are the events are going to take place. That is, zygote develops into embryo, ovules develop into seeds, and ovary develops into fruits. That's it for today. Hope you found this video useful. With this, we have completed the chapter. If you are not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Also, hit like button, share this video with your friends, with your colleagues. I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care.